Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be talking about, in my opinion, the best astrological degrees and really applying to the sun, moon, or ascendant mainly. I mean, you may apply it to other points in the chart, but I think its greatest impact is on the sun, moon, or ascendant because I believe those are the three the three strongest proponents or components in one's natal chart. Well, anyway, people, first one is, of course, it's hard to exclude this one, is Regulus. Now, Regulus can give very strong, have a person could be very prominent with this position, with this degree, have good stature in life. It could be about affluence, prosperity, somebody that could have a lot of notoriety and sometimes could give an affinity for astrology and have very good accolades. You get a lot of accolades, and also could be, being very fortunate that this could be this degree. It could also make one maybe nearly impervious to scandal or slander, and be triumphant over adversaries or enemies. However, on the negative side, this could also be somebody that has a certain position and kind of is toppled at some point after reaching the pinnacle. There can be a setback, perhaps after reaching strong notoriety or prominence or what have you. Now, of course, one good example, Donald Trump has this placement, and of course he is a larger than life figure. He has his ascendant very close to Regulus, and also you look at another person that comes to mind, I think is interesting, is some of you may have heard of him. He was an actor on Different Strokes. Name is Todd Bridges. His ascendant, oddly enough, is very close to Donald Trump's ascendant. Todd Bridges' ascendant is at 29 degrees 57 minutes of arc in Leo, and Donald Trump's is 29 degrees and 58 minutes of arc in Leo. So, and Todd Bridges was, I believe, essentially a teen idol, or at least very close to it at that time. He was on Different Strokes on the sitcom, but his career plummeted a little bit after that. I believe he was combating some drug use, and he was in some trial, which I believe he was acquitted of. And it kind of fits that Regulus thing where you could reach that pinnacle, reach that top, and get that notoriety and exposure, but at the same time there is a chance of falling, of plummeting to some degree, and I think that kind of fits Todd Bridges. Now, the next one I want to talk about is Alhena Almaisen, fixed star, 9 degrees Cancer. And this degree can be very fortuitous. It could give a very benevolent humanitarian nature, somebody that could be articulate, have good diction, affinity for writing, and really this could be something where, this is about having that strong ability, perhaps to write and be able to articulate very well. This is what's interesting is I have this degree, and my son's sun is at Cancer at 9 degrees, very close to this degree, and I was a sports writer at one time. I believe I have very good diction, very good writing ability, and articulate. And also, it's interesting too, is that this could give foot issues as well. And sure enough, I have some problems with my feet. I'll touch the top of my feet lightly, and I'll feel some tingling often. So that is another thing. And also, many of you may have heard Debbie or Deborah Harry, Blondie fame. She has her son signed very close to this position, and she was not just a singer, she was also a songwriter as well. And maybe this degree has her sun being very close to this position had something to do with that, or close to this fixed star, I should say. Now, the next one I want to talk about is Scorpio 29 degrees. Bungala is the name of the fixed star, and somebody that has this near their sun, moon, or ascendant especially, could be very proficient in astrology or occult, supernatural subjects. This could be someone also very introspective, but it could also be someone that reaches high attainments through perhaps the occult, supernatural, or astrology. And renowned astrologer Liz Green has this placement very close to this degree. She has 28 degrees Scorpio rising, and YouTube astrologer Carolyn Mayberry is 29 degrees Scorpio rising. So this could really show very strong energy towards something connected with astrology and perhaps occult, supernatural sciences or subjects or what have you. So anyway, now another thing is talk about is Aquarius at 29 degrees. Now, not a fixed star, but this could be, I like 29 degrees Aquarius because this could be the full culmination of that ingenious, innovative, and eclectic energy. NBA legend Michael Jordan has his sun sign close to this at 28 degrees Aquarius, and I mean, he may very well have revolutionized the game of basketball more so than anybody else. Someone else not far from this degree, you might have heard of him, a football player by the name of Jim Brown, a legendary player, and I felt like he was well ahead of his time in terms of what he did on that football field. I mean, his physique, everything, the way he played. I mean, he just was like a specimen, and maybe this had something to do with it. I mean, it's almost like Aquarius energy on steroids, figuratively speaking. Of course, what I'm saying is it's a very enlarged or enhanced Aquarius energy. So anyway, now another great degree, I think, which is very fortuitous, is the galactic center degree at 27 degrees Sagittarius. This could be somebody that could be very capable of very prodigious and monumental achievements. The person can be very inspirational, motivational, might not even always be cognizant, aware that he or she is. Now, actor Sylvester Stallone has his ascendant close to this at 28 degrees Sagittarius. And Sagittarius by itself, energy could be very expansive, upbeat, and optimistic and motivational. But what I think is interesting how this worked, I think, with Sylvester Stallone, many of you may know that he was in the Rocky movie series, where he played a boxer. Now, in that series, he often showed that he would come out victorious despite facing nearly insurmountable odds. And I think what he did was, whether it was intended to or not, he inspires inspirational even in those movies to people, whether it was somebody that wanted to be a boxer or something else in life, that no matter what their odds were, how much the odds were stacked against them, that there was still a chance that they can emerge victorious and be a winner. And I really think that that placement that Sylvester Stallone has, his ascendant close to the galactic center position, may have had a little something to do with that. Now, also the person can simply be, in some cases, just a very global, iconic figure, somebody larger than life. Now, Prince William has his ascendant at 27 degrees Sagittarius, and he is somebody that really is just such a very iconic, renowned figure, and I think this placement can just be very fortuitous in general. I mean, Prince William, let's face it, to the best of my knowledge, he likely will never have a monetary or financial worry in his life, and this placement can be very benign and beneficial, I believe. Now, Another placement I want to talk about is the fixed star Heneb, and at 20 degrees Capricorn, this could be given nature very benevolent, philanthropic, and have very strong leadership prowess and ability. Now, former U.S. President Richard Nixon had his sun position not far from this, and now, I understand he was in that Watergate scandal, but really, I don't think he was a bad president, and I think he really had very strong leadership attributes and was able to do a solid job, but he was involved in the Watergate scandal, I understand that, and of course, that tarnished and tainted his image to some degree. Now, also, a manager I had worked with in the past had his sun sign close to this as well. And he was really about, I mean, he might have come across as a little bit dictatorial to some people, a little bit overly authoritative, so to speak, but he got the job done and really was, I mean, he might not have the best personality, but he did a very good job as a manager at the store I worked at. He got people to do what they were supposed to do. So this could give very good, I believe, executive and administration ability. And last but not least, the one I want to talk about is the fixed star Atria at 21 degrees Sagittarius. Now, this could be a very benign, ethical, veracious, and moral degree. Actor Jamie Foxx has this very close to his sun sign position in Sagittarius. And one time, I mean, Jamie Foxx, he wound up rescuing somebody from a burning vehicle, and he's also shown really abundance of support for numerous charities as well. So this could be a very fortuitous degree. It could be one that where the person really shows a lot of positive energy and someone that could be very helpful to others. Well, anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment for, in my opinion, the best astrological degrees. And stay tuned next time where I will be continuing my series on Juno in the houses. Two things I want to get with you on before I head out. Firstly, the stars may impel but do not compel. And secondly, never isolate any single astrological element, aspect, planetary placement, position, configuration, influence, or what have you, and make an analysis of a person, astrologically speaking, based on this alone, because astrologically speaking, the person is the sum of all their components in their natal chart and not just one. Until next time, people, stay well.